Hi, Madeline Lowry, Certified MAP Method Practitioner. I wanted to talk about why self-love is an essential component of healing. Now let's do a little test, right? I want you to bring this phrase into your mind, right? I love and appreciate myself. I love and cherish myself. And I want you to give yourself a rating on how true that feels for you. From a 0, don't feel it at all, to a 10, absolutely true, 100% true, right? I want you to rate yourself on how you feel about those statements. This is essential to your ability to recover from chronic illness. That you identify with those statements at a pretty high level, 8, 9, or 10. That's where I want my clients to be. Why? Because healing, all healing, is love. That may be a surprising statement, but in a previous video, you heard me talk about how in order for us to heal, we have to be connected to this universal source of life force energy, right? We often talk about the body having an innate ability to heal itself, but it doesn't come from within us. It comes from a source of information that is beyond us, that we have access to if we are open to it. How do we become open to it? By being open to love, because love is that energy field. Love is the secret sauce of healing. I've heard the sentiment expressed 4 or 5 different ways by different practitioners and thought leaders. And every time I heard it, I thought, what? It was always so surprising for me. It just seemed so unscientific. But now I'm starting to get it, right? Bill Bengston said this. Dr. Bill Bengston, who wrote The Energy Cure, read his book, took his workshop, read many of his articles. But then I read Jill Blakeway's book on energy medicine, and at the very end of the book, she's talking to Bill Bengston. She's having a conversation with him. She says, Dr. Benson, you spent 30 or 40 years studying energy medicine, energy modalities as healing methods in the laboratory. What would you say is the essence of healing? And he says, healing is love. Period. I was like, that is the last thing I expected to hear from him. Then I was listening to this interesting podcast. Ben Greenfield interviews a faith healer named Dr. Nime in Cleveland. And Dr. Nime says something very similar. Ben Greenfield says, well, Dr. Nime, do you think that faith is what you invoke in doing these amazing healings? And Dr. Nime says, no, it's not about faith. He says, you need a much more practical source of, you need a much more practical expression of faith. And Ben Greenfield says, oh, what is that? And he says, it's love. Marianne Williamson, if you read her book, Return to Love, A Return to Love, she's talking about this. Anita Moorjani, read her books, you watch her TED Talk. She talks about the importance of self-love. This is an essential point that people need to grasp. That only when we can let love in, only when we can feel love for ourselves, are we open to that. You can call it the 0-point field, you can call it a universal consciousness, you can call it life force energy, chi, prana, whatever. Only then are we open to this information field that informs the body on how to heal, right? That innate intelligence. That's the source of the innate intelligence. Now understand that what we withhold from ourselves, we also withhold from others, right? And so this ties in another important point. When we harbor ill thoughts against others, it inhibits our ability to heal, which is why forgiveness is so important. So, I mean, these are concepts that I see, that I work with every day in my practice. Every day in my practice, what I see are the blocks and the barriers to forgiveness, to love, to healing. And these look like repetitive negative thoughts, perfectionist tendencies, feelings of abandonment, rejection, separation, feelings of just very self-critical or very self-dismissive types of attitudes and feelings towards our own body, right? My body is doing this, and my body is creating that sensation, this symptom. My body is betraying me, right? All of this amounts to a kind of self-abuse that prevents us from being truly open to self-love, and it impedes healing. So think about that. Think about that. If you'd like to learn more about how we use advanced neural retraining techniques like the MAP method for healing, please visit my website, mindremapforhealth.com, and watch the videos, listen to the podcast episodes, and if you have further questions, please reach out, schedule a free consultation, or send me an email. Thanks.